Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Assad Raja from Eastern Eye newspaper, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the premiere of PUSHER. I've seen how much hard work Assad's done for this film, and I really commend you for what you've done, and I hope that you all go away today and spread the word about this film, because it really is something different and it hasn't been done before in British Asian cinema. Just get a few more people to sit down and then we do the Q&A. And apologies for the Indian timing, you know how it is, you're all Asians, so. And for non-Asians, this is what it's like. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it gives me great pleasure to invite the actor, director, writer and driving force behind PUSHER, Mr. Assad Raja. And I also would like to introduce a woman that I've admired for many, many years, not only because she's amazingly beautiful, because she's a fantastic actress, Miss Mahima Chaudhry. Before we start, I know this has been a big labour of love for Assad, and he just wants to thank a few people.
Oh, yes. I won't take too long because it's quite late. I just want to say that first of all, can you hear me now? Yeah. Thank you. And
just don't start singing.
Okay. And basically, what I'd want to say is that although Assad's been very kind, saying I'm the driving force behind this and everything, the fact is the real person who wrote this film and who was the driving force behind it isn't actually here today, and that's my mum, because she's at home and she's had an argument with me and she won't talk to me. So basically, when you watch the film, there's a mum in there, and if you think, is that a bit autobiographical? It could be, because she hasn't turned up. And so I would just like to say, could we just have a round of applause for my mum? And Mum, thank you for making a stance at my premiere, my first film with Mahima Chaudhry and everyone, and not turning up. It takes guts. And I think some of my angriness and lack of diplomacy in the past, before I made this film, was very from her. And I just want to thank Mahima Chaudhry, who is absolutely wonderful in the film, a very delicate, beautiful performance, and we couldn't have done it without you. Please, round of applause. The other thing I'd like to say is that you almost got deprived of my company this evening, because I was in a police cell last night, because I actually got arrested at 4:30 in the morning. I got here at 7:30. I've had fucking 3 hours of sleep. Yeah? And so basically, what I learned from the film is you've got to be very patient with actors, because they're a pain in the arse. And I'm very diplomatic now, but the police just pushed it too much, and I literally would have missed the premiere, and people would have said, what's going on. And I won't go on about it, but I was stressed, and that's in this film as well, actually. So we've got two things, my mum and the police. The other thing I just want to say is that this film would have been nothing, and I mean this, without the actors I got. And this has spoilt me, and this is God's grace, because it couldn't have happened. So I mean this. And it's very hard work to write, direct and act. Mahima I've mentioned, but I very much wanted to support British industry, because as Asian actors we get no chance, we get rubbish roles, and we need people to support films, and so we as an industry here can survive. And I just want to thank the first guy who came onto the film, Pasha, who is now my friend. Stand up please, Pasha. And he's a hugely talented actor, and we look like real best friends in the film. And I fucking hate him. Yeah? So that's how good actors we are. Manny Laka, who plays a copper in the film. Thank you, Manny. And I would like to thank Mark Anwar, who, please stand up, Mark, who is a genius actor. And I wanted him for a different role, and he said, no, I don't want to do it. And the Indian actor we had for that role didn't get a visa. That was my luck, that he didn't get the visa, because I said, fuck it, I'll use him. And he nailed it. It is his part. He will be remembered. And I know the acting is, you know, let's all hug each other and kiss, and it's good fun. But I'm not just hugging and kissing him. This is true when you see the film. And the other guy without whom the film would not have worked, who was the real blessing, and the other actors won't mind me saying this, because the film would not have worked without this guy, and he was my biggest ace card. Mahima Chaudhry, please stand up. I went all over the country, I looked for actors, I could not find tough guy actors who could speak the language. So my brother said to me, there's some guy who kicks the shit out of people at the Odeon when they talk loud. I said, I like him already. So basically I met him and I said, you're a bit younger than I need, but I need a skinhead. Will you shave your head off? He thought about it for 2 seconds and he did it, and without him the film would not have worked. I want to thank Assad, because it's a big deal, because he's the biggest journalist in this country for Asian media, for coming here out of his busy schedule. I want to thank everybody else, because we don't have time. I want to thank everyone else, and also I want to thank the musicians, Excalibur, who I'm shocked, Saab, please, with his level of talent. He's done a PUSHER Man song. And people talk about Eminem and Jay-Z, and I will not hype this because he is up there, and I want him to reach those levels because he has the talent. He's a poet, and he may be dark and dangerous, but he's a darling as well. And I want you to support him, please. And of course, my mentor in terms of film and music, Stephen Apache Indian, please give him he didn't have to help me, and he's bent over backwards. He's traveled to India with me. He's come tonight and graced our presence here, and he's been a massive help to me. So I just wanted to thank him as well, and everyone else who I haven't mentioned. I want to thank them. I want to thank my wife for putting up for all the bullshit for all these years, and I want to thank Faraz, who is a pain in the ass, but he's indispensable. Where is he? Faraz? He's not even here, but okay. And finally, I just want to thank one guy who is actually a genius. And unfortunately, I don't want to repeat myself, I'll make it quick, but he is a royal pain in the ass. And that's our cinematographer, Fleming Jetmar. He's over there. Please stand up, Fleming. When you watch this film, you will love the camera work, and it's his work, and he's very talented, and I gave him a lot of pressure, and he helped in situations where he didn't have to help. And I'll always remember that. So thank you very much, guys. Sorry for taking up your time, and Assad, I'll hand it back to you. Thank you.
No, thank you. We'll crack on. The first thing that I want to know is, how did you find this subject?
Basically, I'm a big fan of crime films. My next film we start in 2 weeks, that's a crime film as well. And that's all I watch. So I wanted to do a crime film where I could use realistic shootings, realistic dialogue, and realistic scenarios. And I wanted to do it with some kind of star who was out of her solar system. So luckily I got the star, I took her right out of her solar system, and she's like, what are you doing here? Why do I have to do this? Yeah, I said, just do it, it's British style, you know? And she accepted it, and that's what I wanted to do.
But didn't you think that you were, for your first film, taking an incredible risk by making a British Asian film in Hindi? I mean,
Yes.
It's never been done before.
Yes, basically that was the reason, and I was very arrogant as well. I thought, I've walked out of so many Bollywood films now, none of Mahima's, but so many that I want to make a film, and I want to take it to India, I want to take it to their backyard and say we have British talent here, and this is what we do, check it out, and we will change the industry. It hasn't happened, but it's gradually happening because it's created traction now, and over there they're very interested. The market's changed a lot.
Big thing, respect you.
Thank you Apache. Thank you Apache.
And what was the biggest challenge, getting the finance together, or was the biggest challenge actually shooting the film? Because you shot it in a very raw style.
Yeah, basically, I love acting. I had wicked actors with me. It was hard, but it wasn't a chore at all. I loved every second, because with actors, they have to wait a lot, and I had actors saying, oh, when's my shot, when's my da-da-da, and they wait all day and they do a little bit. But if you've written it, you change the script. If you're directing it, they ask you, where shall I put this camera? And when you act, then you act. So you're kind of on all the time, you know? It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Pumping Iron, where he says, I love training so much, it's like I'm having an orgasm 24 hours a day. And that's what it's like.
And what one thing did he do to persuade you to do this film? Because it's completely out of your comfort zone.
It is, but it was so much fun. It wasn't as orgasmic as his experience. Because most of the time I was like, are you sure this is all you want? Because I just had to say my lines flat. It was very subtle. It was not like Bollywood where everything is over the top. You know how it is. If you're upset, you have to be over the top. If you're happy, it has to be ha, like that. So it wasn't like that. And even my character, you don't make it clear till the end what she really does. There is a subtle suggestion that she's a champion girl and all of that and works in a nightclub. But it isn't very clear. And the best part was that I got to see a storyboard. So it was fun to see that comic strip-like thing, and because in Bollywood, no matter how big the project, we don't make storyboard. I don't know, because it's disorganized or what. Yeah. And I shot the film in under 6 days, because when Assad called and he says, I want you to do this film, I was like, okay, now I'll be stationed in London for so many days. And at that time, I was doing films back to back. And he says, no, we just need 6 days. And I was like, he's not going to do it in 6 days. I'll probably end up 6 weeks there. And he finished it so fast. And I used to do a scene and he used to say, okay, we're done, wrap. I said, are you sure? I didn't do anything. He said, that's what you want.
But how did you cope with being in a completely different environment? I mean, because in Bollywood films, you've got like 20 people running around you, makeup men, hairmen, and how did you cope from going from there, like almost a castle, to kind of going to like a small village in a way?
Yeah, in a way, and especially with Assad, like he said, he was writing it, acting and directing it. He was all the time broody. So it was like he wouldn't even answer some of my questions. He was just like to himself. So I didn't get any attention at all. And yes, it was fun. It was fun. I loved it. I loved it.
And how did you build the career graph of the two protagonists, of you two?
Basically, the film is kind of, the theme of the film is corruption, and kind of how far you can get corrupted before, if you can redeem yourself. And with these two, they had a kind of corrupted relationship where it's like a love-hate, and they can't really connect. And I liked that because in a lot of Indian films, the guy just falls in love with the girl, and that's it. Do you know what I mean? And I just wanted to wrinkle the paper a bit, and you know, show it like that. And I think it's really good. And some of the shots we've got, literally with Mahima and the reactions, she helped me, because when you work with a professional actor, what I found is it's very easy, because they improve you, because you learn so much from them, from their behavior, from how they conduct themselves, how they turn on when it happens. So I learned a lot from her in this film, and that's why I really want to work with professional seasoned.
But the two of you come from two very different acting.
It doesn't
backgrounds.
matter.
I mean, did that affect the dynamic between you two when you were working together?
Not at all, I think.
No, I don't think so.
And in terms of yourself, what was the biggest challenge for you of doing this film? Was it the 6 days, or was it the fact that you were kind of throwing yourself into a project that was different to what you'd done before?
Everything. Throwing myself into this project, which was different. Also, you know, working with people I had never worked with. There was not a soul. Normally, you know the cameraman, or you know this, or you know that. I didn't know the style. So it was completely a challenge to trust him completely. I met him when I arrived here, and 2 hours later I was shooting. So, you know, normally you need to trust the director completely. And so, and everybody looked like so much like the character, because like they had shaved their heads, and you know, so they looked like real people who were evil, or you know. So it was very easy for me to get into character.
But did you know that a lot of them were first timers and newcomers?
No, you know, like the first day of shooting, I didn't even know their names, and I didn't even know whether they were real actors, but they looked so real. You know, half the battle was won. And I completely dived into it. I was like, okay, even I'm going to be real. So I did it.
Now, be honest, were you expecting her to be like a big Bollywood diva?
Yeah, I was.
I know she's not like that, but were you expecting that?
Yeah, it's very scary, because well, you don't know until the person turns up what they're going to be like. And basically, when Mahima came, it was that we had a club scene to shoot. And obviously we didn't have thousands of extras, but it had to look like a busy club, and we go in. Now, as soon as she turned up, people were recognizing her and stopping and getting autographs. So I said, literally, we're shooting at a club down the road. We only have one take, and literally we're not telling anybody. We'll just walk into the club. Even the bouncers didn't know. So she said, wicked, I'll do it. So I thought, okay, we're safe now, because I knew from that reaction. So we went, and we just walked in. And we literally almost walked in, but one bouncer stopped us, and that was it. So we got the shot. We got it in one take, and that was our first shot.
And can you talk a little bit about the newcomers and the people who are acting for the first time? Because, like, if you hadn't told me, I would have said that a lot of them were seasoned actors.
I would have said that as well. I mean, basically, the problem is that with an actor, you are treated like cattle. You are treated like shit, basically. And this is why when actors become famous, they then have tantrums, and they behave, and they're right to behave that way. Because when I see that actor throwing a tantrum, I think, you know, that's a beacon for me, because the way I've been treated, or my colleagues have been treated, he's saying, you know, when you get up here, you can do this because of the way you've been treated down there. So the talent is there, but the opportunity to express it isn't there. And so in India, people said to me, Hindi film, and you're using British actors, that's going to be shit. Yeah, and I said, it won't be shit, because we've got major talent there, do you know what I mean? And they can talk the language. And so, the accent, this and that. I said, well, that's how they talk. If the person talks like that, why should I have a Bombay actor loop it? You know what I'm saying? So.
But do you think that you're kind of, in a way, with this film, taking on the establishment? I mean,
Yes.
are you trying to give sorry ladies, but to give the establishment a kick in the nuts?
Yes, that was my intention. Yes. And it happened as well, the suits in Bombay, because I was saying, Bombay, I need to release in Bombay, you know, I got to do this. I even dragged Apache Indian with me. He's like, man, I got a tour in Miami, I got to do this and that. I said, no, please, come with me, please, please. He goes, all right, I'll come. So he went, yeah, and I'm dragging him around. He's saying, man, I'm in the music business, I don't know nothing about film. I said, you do. Music and film, it's the same thing, man. Yeah, and, you know, he's there, so literally, we hit it. And what happened was, they didn't change, but the market changed. So the public changed. So people in the public and in Bombay were saying, wow, we love this. What's happening? When's it coming to Delhi? When's it doing this? So that's what happened. The public changed. The suits maybe will change when they retire and fresh blood comes in, possibly.
You've been in cinema for over a decade now, and one thing I've noticed is that a lot of these big budget blockbusters are kind of coming and going after 2 days. I mean, our friend Upova kind of told us they're like weekend films. They come on Friday and they're gone by Monday. Do you think that cinema needs to kind of explore new avenues with films like this now?
Yeah, sure. Because, like he said, there is a market for it. In fact, even the cinema halls have become like that. We have these multiplexes which can run small films, and you don't even need to push it too much. Word of mouth gets it there. So it's not like you need to have a lot of funding to make films anymore, and people are looking to, you know, they look at the poster, they look at the promos, and from that they can tell whether they want to watch the movie or not, and they see little difference and they go and you get footfall.
And for aspiring, because a lot of us aspiring filmmakers are going to pick up this DVD and go to cinema to watch this film, is it easy for an aspiring filmmaker to convince a big star like you to do a film?
No, it isn't. I think all actors, I mean, even in Bollywood, are looking to step outside the box and do something different. It's out of compulsion that you want to continue working when you're working, that you pick up films that are almost similar, but if something like this comes along, I think everybody would jump and everybody would work outside and do stuff like this, because we watch films like this and we want to be part of cinema like this, and we want to challenge ourselves and be different.
And do you think that's especially true for the leading ladies? Because a lot of the times in Indian films, they're not interested in acting skills.
Yeah, it's the same thing. You just look the same in all your movies. You have the same character. For the first 5 years, you're playing this innocent virgin, and then the next 5 years, you're playing the mother to a small child, and somebody who the husband leaves home and has an affair with somebody else, and then comes back to you in the end. And then post those 5 years.
Then you're forced to retire for 10 years, and you come back as a mum.
Then you come back as a sister, or I don't know. You know? So it's very chopped out for you. So you don't get stuff like this to do. So it's fun. I'm so happy I did it.
And one thing I know about you is that you have got a very creative mind and you love your books. Is this kind of going to inspire you perhaps to get behind the camera?
To get
behind the camera. Yeah.
I don't have the talent for it, and I don't even have the
you're being
patience.
very
No.
modest. Patience, probably, but
Yeah, because you take so long, I get bored really soon. So for me to live with a subject for 3 or 4 years, to write it, to rewrite it, and to have so many drafts, and then to shoot it, I think I would lose patience, or I would continuously change the script, you know, to make it refreshing to me, to be excited. So I don't have that. I think you need to have the director in you. You're born like that.
were you born like that? Was there a director born in you when you were training acting, or did you just like think, no, I just want roles?
No, I just wanted roles. I watched Sholay with my mum, who's not here, I cried for about 3 days after Amitabh Bachchan died in that, and I said his name starts with A and my name starts with A, and I want to be an actor. When I grew up, I did the bill and rubbish things, and I fought with my brother for the corner shop and stuff like that. I thought, well, I'll have to do something myself, and that's.
Oh, William.
Okay.
Hello.
That's hard. So.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of fell into it, I guess.
And what's the biggest lesson that this film has taught you as a filmmaker, and what advice would you give to somebody who's now embarking on the journey that you just went on?
I'd say there's 3 things. One is that you have to do it. You have to love it because you're with it for so long. If you don't love it, the Indian audiences, Asian audiences have cinema in their blood. So the audience has a sixth sense. They know when they watch it what's going on. You can't fool them. You have to mean it. If it's from your heart, the audience will buy it. The second thing I'd say is that you need tenacity. So you need to, when the hurdles come, you need to know you're going to stay for the long race. And the third thing I'd say, as a director, what you need is humanity. I think you don't have to have any skill, you don't have to have eyes, you just have to have humanity. And that is the key thing, I would say.
And there's a lot of new actors in this film, and there'll be a lot of people who are getting into acting. What advice would you give aspiring actors?
Just that it's very easy to get a success, but it's very, very difficult to survive. And you just have to use your instincts and not go by what people are telling you to do. Just go by what you feel is the right thing to do, because you know best for yourself. Sometimes you may pick something which everyone says, oh, no, this is not right for you. But if you feel and your heart is in it, yeah, the honesty will come through. And make a niche for yourself. Don't go on anybody's borrowed sort of path. Never works. I think you should make your own path.
And do you think, in a sense, that an actor can probably learn a lot more from doing small independent projects and get lost in a big blockbuster as an extra or as a supporting role or something?
Yeah, I think it depends on the role. If it is a big blockbuster, you should be part of it, because that's how you sort of sustain yourself economically. But yeah, I mean, you get bigger chances when you do a smaller film and you have a bigger role. Yeah, you do. So you have to balance that out. I think it's, you know, it's very, I hear a lot of actors who do small films, they keep saying that, you know, I think I made a big mistake. I want to make a breakthrough in big Bollywood films. I want to do a commercial film. So I think the balance is very important, because you'll reach a larger audience once a very big blockbuster sort of, you know, a lot of people watch it. Like there were some films like Bagban where I just did a guest appearance. And when I move around, everyone says, oh, we loved your Bagban. And I was like, it's not mine. You know, Mr. Bachchan and Mahima Chaudhry were the main characters. Me and Salman, we just did a guest appearance. But people remember that, and they remember Dharkan, where I just did one song. So sometimes that works for you in terms of shelf life. People remember that for a very long time. And so yeah, you need to make a balance.
And going back to Pusher, can you talk a little bit about the music? Because I think it's kind of one of probably the second hero of the film.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Basically, I chose all the music myself, and I think it's an intrinsic part of how the audience relates to the project. And basically, I love it as well, and I think I just wanted to use everything, because we talk in English, Punjabi, Hindi, Urdu, and that's how we've done it with the music. We've got English music, rap music, and all that kind of thing. And what I loved was how much I enjoyed interacting with the artists Apache or Excalibur or Tiger Style and these guys. And in fact, I'm already planning the music for my next film, and I have a theme for it now, which I didn't have for this one. And I have a theme which I'm following and which I'm going to pursue for that. So I really enjoyed it, definitely.
And I also want to know, how do you direct yourself? You're the actor and you're the director and you're the writer, but how do you direct yourself?
Basically, what it is
how can you critique yourself and how can you be
objective? You shouldn't critique yourself. My humble opinion is you shouldn't critique yourself. Essentially, when you're an actor, if you're on the other side of the table as director, in a way you kind of don't want to direct the actor. You want him to come and bring his thing. And then if you don't like it, or if it's too far off kilter, you want to say, you know, take it this way if you can. Otherwise, let him do his thing, because he's an expert in his business, unless he's totally out of wrong. And usually, when you cast, you know that the person will do it right. And doing it yourself, it's the same thing, because generally actors are very insecure, and I'm fairly insecure about it, but I'm fairly confident as well. So I know what I want to do, and I forget about it. Once the cameraman knows what we're doing, then you just play the scene. There's none of our business whether it hits the camera or not. We can worry about that afterwards. So when we're performing, we just do our scene. So there isn't actually an issue about it.
They say that every actor wants to be a director and every director wants to be an actor. What's the case for you?
I think acting is the best job in the world. I think directing is the second best job in the world, and I think writing is the third best job in the world.
But because you also kind of produced the film as well. We haven't talked about that. Where does that fit into this?
Where it fits into it is this. Basically, with this film here, the biggest thing now I have is they say you haven't got any white faces in there, which I understand because of the language. This next film is English. I have some good English actors in there as well. And basically, I can make a film, and then I can disappear for 6 years, because no one will give me any more money because I didn't think of the business side of it. So unfortunately, you have to have a business side because it's the music business, it's the film business. And so essentially, I had to bust my ass to raise the money, and I had to look after that money because if the public doesn't see it, if they don't go out and pay their £6, then it's useless. It's just me having a dream about it. The audience has to pay their money, and they have to walk out saying, "Oh, he robbed me," or he, you know, he made my paisa vasool, you know. So you have to get them to pay, and the payment is what allows you to do your next project. So it's important.
And you're quite anarchic. You're quite rebellious. Do you think that you're perhaps too dangerous?
Because of my mum. Because of my mum, I got it from her.
And but do you think you're too dangerous for the film industry? And
I hope so, because I think we need danger. Because I think, you know, Gandhi said, "Be the change you want to be." You know, be the change you want to be. And Michael Jackson, who I cried when he died, because I think the world is a poorer place without Michael Jackson. We won't go there, but I think this. And he said, you know, the man in the mirror. And it's true. People listen to the song, man, but they don't listen. They don't hear it. And that's what it is. You know, you're pissed off about that. Fucking go and change it. You know, you go and change it. Yeah, sorry, excuse my French.
I was with Shekhar Kapoor recently, and he was saying that a lot of people, especially in Hindi cinema, they're their own worst enemy because they don't take risks. Do you think that more people need to kind of go out of the comfort zone now?
Sure. I mean, you see some of the biggest banners churning out similar kind of movies. And they are in a position to actually go and experiment because the audiences are ready, and I think they take the least amount of chances. It's the smaller people who come along and they say, listen, we're not going to be seen if we do the same thing unless we are drastically different. So the smaller people are taking the bigger risks, I think so.
Mm-hmm. And in this film, what's your favourite scene?
I don't know. I haven't seen the full film. I've seen it in bits and pieces. So I think
there's a scene, I believe, with you and with your dog, and he's not well, and I think you use it as a kind of a metaphor.
No, I don't want to be a narcissist and pick one of my scenes, but I think it could be a scene where everybody else is there and not me.
Do you have a favorite moment?
It's that scene, yeah, basically.
That scene is kind of double-edged scene.
Absolutely, there's a subtext in the film because what I wanted to do is I wanted to make a film where, like, I'll tell you now, you'll forget after 10 minutes, but basically there's colours which are related to moods and themes in the film. And you won't see certain colours in that scene if it's related to this thing. So we've used colours relating to certain themes and people and stuff. I haven't told anyone about it, and no one will notice it. People like me, kind of freaks, will notice it, but other people won't. And basically, one of the themes is this corruption, and her dog has died, and she's talking about the dog, and Mahima is looking out the window. And we shot it, and she couldn't see me, so she couldn't see my reaction. But when I watch it, I love it. I tell the missus, oh, look at this scene, I love it so much. She said, oh, what do you love about it? And I said, oh, you wouldn't know. But, basically, the Mahima says her line, she waits, nothing happens, and she walks away. And it's very painful, and it's beautiful. And it's about their relationship, but she's talking about the dog.
And talking of, sorry, because I was talking about you, is it true, I mean, I heard recently that in the film, originally you got completely the wrong costumes for her.
Yes.
You had to dress as a nun.
What happened was, basically, right, people saying, oh man, you're working with Mahima Chaudhry, wow, that must be amazing. I'll tell you the truth about the glamour of the film industry. Basically, Mahima Chaudhry is on the set, most beautiful woman in the world. Yeah, and I'm thinking, right, what's the next scene? What are my lines? What are her lines? Why is Pasha not here? Right, what's going on? Da-da-da-da-da-da, yeah. And basically, we'd got a costume person who'd got a load of, like, manly clothing. And my wife said, isn't she like a champagne girl who works in a nightclub and, a bit dodgy? I said, yeah. He goes, why have you got her dressed like a nun then? And I went, goodness gracious. And I genuinely didn't even see her because I was thinking just in the script. I said, Mrs., please, costume. And she went and bought some short skirts, and that saved the film actually very much. Yes.
And can you give like a final thought about the film?
I'd say please, if you like it, tell people about it, and also please support other cinema like this, because all the artists who do it, they need that support, and it's only the public and people who pay for it, whether it's music or acting or film, who will allow it. And I think Bollywood is brilliant. It's a genre, and when it's done best, it can't be beaten. But it shouldn't be the only thing that we get fed as Asian cinema goes. So I just say, if you like it, please spread the word and support independent film.
And can you give a final thought about the film?
Yeah, first thing is I want to thank Assad for even thinking about me and getting me on board and allowing me to have such an immense experience. And I just want to say that as an actor, all you're looking for is reassurance all the time. And when someone calls you for a job, it's like another form of reassurance. And when people turn up and support you, it's another form of reassurance. And that's all an actor's looking for. And thank you so much, all of you. Everyone who worked on the film, everyone who supported me, Assad for asking me to do this, the cameraman for being patient with me. Never worked with a handheld camera, so I always wanted to be in frame. And he was like, no, you don't have to do that. I'll catch you. You don't catch me. And so thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And just to finish on a lighter note, is Assad Raja now an expert drug dealer?
Absolutely. Coke, speed, pills, hash. What do you want?
Ladies and gentlemen, please, can we give a big round of applause for Assad Raja and Mahima Chaudhry?